Hey, my friends. Happy Wednesday. Emily Smiley here. Question for you. Are you stuck? Do you feel stuck? Or are you growing? It's a simple question that I feel like we all need to ask ourselves from time to time and answer it honestly to yourself. Do you feel stuck? Or do you feel like you're growing? And, I have a few questions I want to share with you guys today because I feel like we can all relate to this at some point. I feel like we've all felt stuck and we've all felt like we were in that growth period. I posted a few days ago about growth. I've literally been in a growth mastermind or coaching group. And it's funny because it's totally my jam. I can eat this stuff for breakfast, literally. And it was my topic for today, which is funny. But how do you get yourself out of that stuck phase and moving forward? So in my previous post during the week, I gave the example of, hey, Vanessa, thanks for hopping on. If your kids were stuck, if you noticed that your kids weren't developing, maybe in a certain area, as a parent, if you're a parent, maybe you can relate to this. If not, imagine it, right? What would you do to get them out of that stuck state? So maybe they were stuck in their studies, or maybe they were stuck in their responsibility, or maybe they were just stuck in, like, how many of you guys have noticed, like, if your kids hit like a lazy stage, right? And you're like, dang, or whatever it is, like complacent, maybe they've been back talking, you get a little bit of an attitude. Now, if you were to turn that question to yourself and asked about yourself, just like if you were looking at another person, what would your answer be? If you were really fine-tooth combing through your life in all of your areas, right? Whether it's in your business or whether it's in your personal life, because they're all intertwined, right? Do you feel like you might be stuck or complacent or maybe not growing as much as you should in one of those areas? And the answer usually for most of us is yes, in at least one area. Now, I will say sometimes I felt totally stuck in a lot of areas, and that is not a fun place to be. I felt like that in business. I felt like that, and I had to pivot and I had to learn and grow. And it's funny because if you feel like you're in a stuck place, awareness is the first key, right? You're like, dang, I'm not moving forward in whatever area this is. When my kids were really little, I went down the rabbit hole of like momhood, right? And I literally had to dig my way out after I was done with that phase and like, all right, so who am I and what do I want? All right, I want a business. And so I chose not to go back to teaching. And that was a big decision for me. But it was also a growing period. And it was painful, I'm not going to lie. So how many of you guys, feel like you're in a growth period? Hey guys, thanks for hopping on. I see some of you hopping on. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I'd love to know where you're watching from or hanging out with me from. And do you feel like you've had a growth period, or do you feel like you're in a stuck period? And there's no qualm in here. I have literally been in stuck periods and I've been in growth. I will say the reason why this is a topic lately for me is because I feel like I've been in a massive growth period. And let me tell you something about this stage, and then I have a couple questions and tips that I want to share, so hang in there. Hey, thanks for hopping on. Make sure you say hey and let me know where you're tuning in from. So growth periods, when you feel like you're in a stuck period, right? We just said the first thing is like being aware, right? And the second thing is being intentional and getting yourself out of it, right? Those are the two main things. But when you do get in that growth, sometimes you get in overwhelm. Sometimes you feel like you're like analysis paralysis. And then sometimes it's just painful. You might be growing or stretching. It might be really uncomfortable. So for me, when I'm, training people in the gym or something, if they're learning something or they're growing, like literally growing muscles, right? No pun intended there, but it's like, it can be painful. It can be uncomfortable. It can be, just really, really, really like in the trenches, right? And it's not always fun. And it's like, sometimes I remind them like, you're going to get better at this, right? Or in our business, how many of us have felt like you're just learning? Like if you're learning this new, how to build online. Like when I first started, I was so freaking overwhelmed that I literally was in analysis paralysis and I did nothing. And then it became painful. And I mean, there's all these stages to your growth. So the first is to identify, where you're at. If you feel stuck in whatever area it is, identify where it is, right? And then how you can get yourself unstuck. And then be very intentional with it, right? So there's that awareness is my first tip, right? So ask yourself, where are you growing? And then what areas might you be stuck in? And just brain dump would be my suggestion. I love to do this every so often. I feel like it keeps me on my toes. And then the second is, after you're really aware of where you are, be intentional. So for me, at least in the business realm, it was like, okay, so I'm stuck here and I want to do this. So I had to seek out what I needed to know. And for me, that was learning how to build my business online. Maybe it's your health journey. Maybe it is in your business. Maybe, you've pivoted right now to, brick and mortar or old school, and you're really trying to learn online and you feel stuck. But maybe you feel stuck because you don't know what to do. Maybe you don't know what the next step is. But even knowing that about yourself is important, right? How many times have I told people, it's like in their health journey, let's say, for instance, the first step is awareness. The second is asking for help. And it's the same in business. So you're aware of the areas where you feel stuck. And then you're intentionally seeking out the next step, even if it's asking for help. Now, sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, we know what to do, right? Like, to eat healthier in your health journey. To get to work on your business. Maybe you know what to do for it. Maybe okay, well, I need to put better content out there. I need to connect with more people. I need to, whatever it is, I need to do lives. Like, how many of us literally have stopped ourselves from doing Facebook Lives because we didn't want to do a video? And I've been guilty of it myself. I let that keep me for a long time because I thought to share a message with you guys, I needed to look a certain way, when reality was I was not going to wear makeup and fix my hair. But I learned to get over that. Why? Because this is the next thing that I need you to remember when you're in an area of growth. This is literally what I'm constantly circling around, and there's levels to this. So it's so funny. We were just talking about this. It's like, just because you mastered something at one point in your life doesn't mean you're not going to have to come back to it, right? Or on a totally different level. Because when push came to shove, I knew that I had a message to share. I knew that I had impact. I knew that my potential was to serve others. My passion in life is helping women crush it online. And I know how to teach to do that. I know who to connect to do that. I know how to get to that next step. And I have been that person frustrated in that stuck state of not knowing what to do and not learning and not growing. And let me tell you guys, 16 years in the classroom, I don't know if it's that, or I love to learn. And it's frustrating for me personally to feel stuck. It's a very helpless feeling, right? How many of you guys can relate? Have you felt stuck to where you just are like, I don't even know what to do? And that was frustrating. So for me, it's easier for me to tackle overwhelm, or like, okay, I know so much what to do that my list is way too long of what to do, right? So identify where you are in that, area that you're stuck and that area that you're growing, and then realize, who is it that you're serving? What is your purpose? What is your potential, right? In the business sense, what impact are you wanting to make? Because when you realize that, and you identify that in yourself, what's your passion, what's your potential, what's your purpose, there's a clarity that comes with that. And when the clarity comes, it takes you out of that stuck stage. It helps you dig into that growth and like really root yourself into there, right? And it helps you to get over yourself, get over the Facebook Live. Why? Because you have a purpose. It's more important that you show up, not that you doll up. Right? It's more important that you face that fear and that you choose to stretch and grow than it is for you to feel in that stuck stage. Does that make sense? So if you are feeling stuck, you need to identify, brained up why or where you're feeling that area. And then identify how you can move forward. First of all, in an awareness. Second, be intentional, and this is probably asking for help. And that's okay. Or maybe it's not. Maybe you know that next step that you need to do, right? That's your perspective, right? Identify what your purpose is, especially when building your business, right? What's your potential? What impact? Who are you serving? If you can get really clear on those questions with yourself, you're going to not just get into a growth stage, you're going to hit a growth spurt in your business. You're going to hit a growth spurt in your life, in your personal development, and you're going to learn and grow and really expand not just your business, but your influence, your impact. Does that make sense? I hope this was helpful for you guys. Pretty short and sweet and to the point, but I really do hope that it really is my passion to serve you guys. And it is my intent to make a large impact, specifically with mamapreneurs, right? Because I feel like we juggle a lot, and there's a lot that we are juggling right now, right? Not gonna lie. And so if you know someone that can be encouraged by this, if you know someone on your team that maybe they feel stuck, or maybe they're in that painful growing, just to encourage them that that is what it feels like sometimes, right? And to just be encouraged by that, share this video with them. And let me know. You guys know I always welcome the feedback. You can drop me in here or shoot me over in Messenger. And I'd love to connect with you. Let me know where I can best serve you. All right, you guys, I hope you're having a great day and get out there and crush it. See you next time.